Hi friends, welcome back. Prepared Suburbanite here. As you know, if you live on the East Coast, we're facing a potential tropical storm. I think the name is Isaias, and it's about ready. Last time I checked, it was still tropical storm, but they're expecting it to hit Cat 1 and graze the coast of South Carolina, somewhere around Myrtle Beach in that area, and then track north up the I-95 corridor. So we're about 18 hours away from the brunt of that particular storm where we are here in Wake County, North Carolina. So I wanted to go over a few quick things, 5 quick things that you can do right now if you're in the path of a tropical storm or hurricane. So stick around. So first things first, I'm going to take my rings off for those folks that don't like my rings. The first thing is, in one of the most common effects of a massive tropical storm or a hurricane hitting are power outages. So I want you to make sure that you check your alternate sources of power. If you've got a generator, bless your heart, you're going to be well ahead of the game. If you don't have a generator, then you're going to want to make sure that you do have alternate sources of power and lighting for your house if it's going to be out for 72 hours or more if the power's out. So, bottom line, make sure you've got battery-powered lanterns, flashlights, all that kind of stuff that you can use so that when it gets dark, you've got the comfort of having some light around. Very important to have some light around. It makes you feel better for one thing, and it makes you see so you don't bang your knees and your toes against the furniture when you're walking around. But it's pretty important kind of stuff to have. Part of the emergency setup kit. The other thing related to batteries are having a power bank. This is an Anchor power bank. It's plenty enough to charge both our phones, my phone and my wife's phone, probably 2 or 3 times. So that should get us through. I just made sure that they were all charged up, and we've got a backup for this too. So that's pretty important stuff. Make sure you've got a backup supply of batteries. This is these are AA's, and most of the things that you see laid out here run on AA's. The other thing you need to have, number 2 on the list, is an emergency radio. This is the Voyager from Cato, and it's got the NOAA weather bands, AM, FM, and shortwave channels 1 and 2. So it's got pretty much everything you need. It's solar powered, so in case you run out of batteries in the thing, you can power it from the solar panel that's on the back. And it's got a light source in it, a little bit of a sort of a flashlight, I guess, a little bit of illumination, and it will kind of keep you going if you need to, and it'll keep you up to date. There's the back side so that there's some more lights there. It'll keep you going and keep you up to date on what's going on with the tropical storm. Next thing, make sure you've got 72 hours worth of food supply and a way to cook it. We've got a couple of these original kind of Coleman stoves that run off these little propane bottles, the little 1-pounders. Got a bunch of these in reserve. Also got the hookups that we can attach it to a 15 or whatever they call them now, 15-pound tanks, which I think they're only putting 10 pounds in now. But anyway, we just had to run to the local store to take an empty 15 or 20 pound tank back to trade it back in. And I only, honest to God, I only used it for like 2.5 weeks, maybe a half a dozen or so cookouts on the grill, and it was just spent. So maybe I got a bad bottle, I don't know, but they don't come cheap, and they're very convenient to have. We got a couple backups now, so we're probably okay for the outdoor cooker. Got enough of these little 1 pound bottles for the Coleman stove so that we can cook up and enjoy some hot food if and when we lose power. Now we've got a full house generator here, and I've learned from the last power outage that it's pretty expensive to run because we're running it off natural gas. But it'll keep the refrigerator going, it'll keep the stove going, it'll keep the air conditioner going. In the wintertime, obviously, it'll keep the heat going. So it may be worth that little extra expense because it draws quite a lot of natural gas when it's in use. So to recap, power, in case your power goes out, if you got a generator, you're good to go. Battery backups, emergency lighting, flashlights, candles, that kind of stuff so that you've got some illumination when it gets dark. An emergency radio, very important to have so you can stay in touch with what's going on in your area. A food supply. This is just a sample, certainly not sponsoring anything here, but that's a 72-hour pack for, I think, one person, but it's enough to get us through. We've got a lot of reserves of that kind of stuff, so make sure you've got at least a 72-hour supply of food for each person in your family and a way to cook it if you have to be off-grid or without power. And rain gear. So number 5 is rain gear. We picked up these Frog Togs. They're rain jackets, come down about 3/4 length. They're just absolutely great. Used them a couple of times when we got stuck in the rain. Carry them with us in our Jeep all the time. So I would suggest if you can find this kind of stuff, they fold up really neat. They go in this little bag. They're just absolutely wonderful. So power, radio, food supply, a way to cook it, rain gear, and a couple of other things. If you end up in a situation where you have to leave your home and you have to take shelter somewhere because of flooding, because of trees down, damage to your house, that kind of stuff, I'll show you a picture of some damage that we had just a few days ago. I'll kind of superimpose that here. But if you have to go to a shelter because you can't stay at your home, make sure you take some personal protective equipment with you. Face masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, whatever you can grab before you go to that shelter, make sure you got it. And make sure you've got enough cash to get you through for a few days, because you're not going to be able to use the ATMs. Credit card machines may not work if the power's out, that kind of stuff. So make sure you've got enough cash. With the tropical storm bearing down on us, wanted to give you these 5 tips plus a couple bonuses to keep you safe. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see you all on the next video.